to Unity Coalition TV. This is UCTV, honey, and we know it's Friday. Yes, we got on Friday. UCTV got talents. And remember, today we have an amazing people. Miami Gay Man Carlos is going to be performing for us today. And we're going to talk about how Gay Man Carlos has been working in South Florida. And if you want to know more information about this, just stay connected with us and follow Miami Gay Man Carlos on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And remember, during this time of quarantine time, Unity Coalition have the best information for you regarding the coronavirus crisis. If you want to know what is open, what is not open, or honey is Friday, where should I go? Go to the website www.unitycoalition.org o en español coaliciónunida.org y puedes encontrar toda la información necesaria durante esta cuarentena para que estemos comunicados y nos mantengamos atentos a todo lo que está pasando. If you need more information, go to the website unitycoalition.org and find community resources. Everything that you need to know is just right there. Right now, continue helping with the LGBT community. Unity Coalition is out there with the Micro Giving Fund coronavirus. Yes, this is an emergency project for the LGBT service community. Every time that you go to the restaurant or any place that you got to give some tips to the people, this is the perfect time to help everybody. Let's help off to help the rest of the community. Go to the website and donate. Go to the Facebook Unity Coalition fan page and donate. And the best part is because everything and every single coin is going straight to the community. So we don't hold any money. We don't keep it anything because everything is going to the community. So let me tell you, just go to the website, unitycoalition.org and donate. But if you don't got money, honey, that's not a problem. Just share on your social media. Somebody else is going to help us. Just continue helping us to the rest of the community. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we said we have more information for you. And today, news Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is charged with the murder and manslaughter of George Floyd. Miami Beach hotel and beaches to reopen with limits June 1st. And two injured in shooting inside the Nordstorms at Ventura Mall. People, stay at home, stay safe, put masks on it, and wear gloves every time that you're going out of home. Because if you do that, you're taking care about yourself, but at the same time, you're taking care about your lovers. So stay protected and stay connected. But the best part, just connecting with Unity Coalition. And remember that we are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 4 p.m. on Facebook Live and then on Instagram and YouTube. Just remember, unitycoalition.org is going to be here for you. And we are just ready just to have the director for Miami Gay Man Chorus. And his name is Anthony Cabrera. Anthony, welcome to UCTV Friday.
Nice to be with you, Samantha. It's Friday!
Okay, Anthony, we are almost ready just to listen this beautiful performance in art. And people, let me tell you, Miami Gay Man Chorus has been around in South Florida for a few years. So we're gonna talk more about how you can enroll in this group of people. Inclusive is a LGBT is amazing. You can perform, you can show your showcase. So this is a great opportunity. And remember, UCTV Friday is Got Talents, and on Mondays and Wednesdays, we talk about everything that is related for our community, not only LGBT community. Remember, Unity Coalition is being in South Florida since 2002, and we are here to help the Latin, Hispanic, and also Indigenous community. So we're just waiting for Anthony Cabrera. Be ready just to have some questions and know more about Miami Gay Men Chorus. As I said, go to the website unitycoalition.org and donate, help us to continue helping that community. You are, let me tell you, next Monday and Wednesday, remember, UCTV is going live from Philadelphia. Yes, everybody. So stay connected with us because Unity Collection TV is going to be next week on Philadelphia, live from Philadelphia.
Hi,
Right, Herb?
Samantha. How are you?
Hey, Herb, how are you? Listen,
Wonderful.
we cannot do this show without you. That's what I want to
Oh,
make it at this introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Herb
that's
Sosa in the
great. That's
house.
great. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to have Anthony with us. Hi, Anthony.
Herb, it's such a pleasure. I'm glad to be here with you.
Anthony, Samantha and I are full of questions for you. But first and foremost, tell us about what the Miami Gay Men's Chorus is, how long it's been around, and why do you guys exist other than just sharing beautiful music?
Well, the Miami Gay Men's Chorus started in 1999. So we're in our 22nd season.
Mm-hmm.
Our first performance was under the Morris Lapidus band shell on Lincoln Road. And so that was in 1999. We currently rehearse at Coral Gables Congregational United Church of Christ in Coral Gables. They've been wonderful sponsors of ours. And yes, it's called the Miami Gay Men's Chorus, but as of late, it's much more than that. We keep the historic name, the Miami Gay Men's Chorus, which originally was the South Beach Gay Men's Chorus. But now our membership includes straight, trans, bisexual, any person who wants to come and sing with us that can function as an ally to our community or needs just a place to find community, whether you are straight, gay, lesbian, transgender, you want to build a family, and we're here to do that. The Miami Gay Men's Chorus is part of a broader organization called the Gala Choruses.
Mm-hmm.
And that is an international organization of gay and lesbian choruses, and like literally from around the world. And those were started in the early 90s and late 80s as a result of the AIDS crisis. People needed community.
Sure.
People needed a reason to get together, to hold each other through their pain of loss. And this is where the choruses came from.
So you say you perform at the Coral Gables Congregational Church or Community Church. Is the chorus religious, or is that just a generosity on your part?
It's not a religious organization. We just happen to pair up with an organization that is religious but is affirming of us. And we also perform at the Episcopal Church on Miami Beach, All Souls, which is on 41st and Pine.
Sure.
And they're also a congregation that is open and affirming and welcoming of our community. So those are the places that we go perform.
So I know that Samantha and I, around 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, our voices are amazing. So if we think that we're good enough to be in the chorus, how can somebody try out to be on the chorus?
Well, at this point, we're trying to figure out what the fall is going to look like. But you can certainly contact us at info@mgmchorus.org and express your interest in auditioning for the chorus. We had planned on set dates, but again, due to the COVID-19 situation, we don't know what that's going to look like in the fall. So I will respond to the email and we can make arrangements for you to send a recording or a video recording or an audio recording of yourself so that, you can be heard. We are going to be looking at limiting the size of the group come the fall, just for the purposes of probably just even being able to rehearse and perform.
Sure. But I did understand you correctly. It's just because the name is Miami Gay Men's Chorus, you're all welcoming and all inclusive, correct?
Absolutely. We have women who sing with us in the chorus that identify as straight women. We have transgender members to our chorus. We have straight guys that come and sing with us, and pansexuals and pan everything.
What about en español? ¿Y si canto en español?
Pues entonces prepara una partitura en español y te escucho. Y si cantas y comes frutas, entonces no hay problema.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Samantha, are you ready to try out? I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Honey, just tell me, Anthony, just let me know, and I'm going to be performing my own live musical.
Oh, listen, sweetheart, I'll write a show around you.
Honestly, I know because you guys have been partners, community partners, wonderful community partners of Unity Coalition for many years. And to me, one of the most special performances, at least for me and for Unity Coalition, was a couple of years ago at our Celebrate Orgullo Gala, when you had a special guest come back to your chorus. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because to me, that was nothing says diversity and unification and community more than that performance of Loving.
Nothing says more than diversity and unification than the Dame Vina Rouge. We had a wonderful performance having Vina come back and sing with us for that particular gala, and it was wonderful. It was great. And that's really what we're about. This is not a lofty organization that seeks to exclude people, and we're looking at the way our community is developing, and we're opening, not only opening doors but windows. If you want to come in through the air conditioning vent, it doesn't matter. We want to find a place for people to be able to gather and support each other, good, bad, and ugly or otherwise, and sing while we're at it.
So Anthony, let me ask you a question. I know obviously it's a great social mixer. It's a great place to meet people. It's a great place to express your talents and share them with the world. But I know that the chorus is a lot more than that. And your community commitment, if you will, is far more than just putting out great music and performance. Tell us about some of the other things that are on your mind or that trouble you or that the chorus wants to focus on.
Well, one of the things that I take great pride, one of the things I take great pride in is that, for example, with the AIDS Walk, okay, Miami Gay Men's Chorus has always been in the top 5 donors for AIDS Walk. So, we're always raising money, whether it's to be able to perform or to be able to pay staff or whatever. And, sometimes that's a struggle, but somehow we always manage to, when it comes to AIDS Walk, be at the forefront of our community, because we understand that at the end of the day, that's our mission too, right? We were born as a result of the AIDS crisis.
Right.
And so the AIDS Walk is something that is important to us and is part of our identity as an organization, and we work really hard to make sure that we can work to get funding for that.
Yeah,
so that's one of those community things that's really important to us.
That's a great point, Anthony. And let me ask you, because I know that you and I have been discussing this offline the last couple of days. There's also a responsibility, really, is what it is, as community organizations, as leaders, to step up, not just when it affects your front door, but when it affects really any marginalized group. And there's no better or worse time, I should say, than what our country is experiencing right now, as if the COVID, crisis hasn't been bad enough, as if starting, hurricane season next week isn't bad enough. The horrendous crimes that are being committed against people of color, trans individuals, and really all minorities across the country has really come to a boiling point yet again in Minneapolis. I know you have some thoughts about that, of how can organizations like the Miami Gay Men's Chorus, like Unity Coalition, how can we support, be there, in a positive way for other communities that feel disenfranchised, as we know very well what that feels like?
I mean, and you're very right. We fall under that category of marginalized people, as if the outrage of being, exposed to losing our jobs, to whatever we may experience as gay men who present as white, we have to add on our responsibility to speaking out for our trans sisters of color. We have to speak for them because they are part of who we are. Now, we're also looking at another marginalized community, African American community in our country. And while some of us may not physically identify with that, we do have to we do have the capability of identifying with the suffering and the exclusion and the mistreatment, and it's our responsibility to speak up for them. Because if we don't speak up for them, then when the tide rolls and it's pointed at us, then who's going to speak up for us? So it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
What do we do as musicians? We sing, right? And so part of that is I'm planning in terms of programming for the chorus, a piece called "The Seven Last Words of the Unarmed," which take the last words of a number of African American men who have lost their lives. Phrases like "I can't breathe" become an entire piece of music, and it's hard to fathom that. But that's the way we speak and bring attention to those kinds of things. And I think we owe it to other marginalized communities to speak out on their behalf as well.
How can music make a difference? Well,
music has that uncanny ability to hit people where it hurts, right here. It's something that we're wired to react to in a visceral sense, in a deep visceral sense. And so if we use the words, for example, "I cannot breathe," and put them in a context of an incredible piece of music, I feel like that could work toward making people react. And it doesn't mean, that everybody's going to go out and carry a sign. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to go out into the street, and yell and scream. And I mean, those are people's choices. And I think everybody that does that has a right to do it. From a music standpoint, that's the way we do it. We inspire people to think and feel and understand, and more than anything, empathize with people who are experiencing loss and tragedy. It allows us to feel that empathy that is so necessary in order for us to be able to connect.
Makes sense. Anthony, I just thought of this. There was a concert, and forgive me if I get the title wrong, but there was a show that you did several years ago. I believe the title was Armageddon or something very similar to that. I know I'm butchering it, sorry. But it was basically focused on the AIDS epidemic. What similarities or differences would you find, or parallels would you find with what we're living now, whether it's COVID or whether it's this social and racial injustice? What's your
the program was called, that was the same year that we did A Very Merry Apocalypse to You, which is where you got that.
Okay, I'm getting that wrong.
The program was called Alex in Disco Land.
Okay.
And it was.
I was at all of them, for the record. I was at all of them.
I know. That's why you know them all. I've seen your face there for the last 12 years, right? And he traveled back into the 70s to experience what led to the AIDS crisis, and it's how we are working with each other to support. We're seeking help from the powers that be, but at the same time, we're people who are working to support each other through the loss and through the pain. I mean, 100,000 plus people have died. And I'm not going to go and try and compare one epidemic to the other because that's unfair, right?
Exactly.
But it's certainly a situation where there has been loss and that people are in desperate need. One of the big parallels that I can point out too is a lot of times, or most of the time, people who are dying as a result of COVID are dying alone.
Right. Exactly.
And when people died of AIDS at the onset of that epidemic, our brothers died alone.
Exactly.
And we can understand that. We can understand that feeling of, I don't even have my mother here, whether it was because they weren't allowed in because they were sick or because their parents had abandoned them. Many of them died alone. And that's a really interesting parallel between both. Our response should be the same. Support, love, care, understanding.
True. Yeah, I just want to go back.
Probably most of the time, those problems just came in emotional. And emotional, as you said, is very, very marking your life, and we need to support each other. That's why we have all this community and all this organization, as Hersosa said, and as you said, working together just to find a better life, and not only for you or for them, it's just for a future community. It's just for everybody and for those that are coming in the future.
And
Absolutely.
before we hear you,
Oh, I want to say, listen, I have a question for you because some people says like since the name says on the title Miami Gay Mentors, and I know that you guys are very inclusive. Is there a possibility for somebody being a transgender can be accepted inside the show? I know that is yes, but we want to make sure and educate the people that this is Miami Gay Mentors, but we are so inclusive. Everybody is welcoming.
I am keeping a seat warm for your beautiful behind. You are welcome to come in. I'm serious. Anybody and everybody is welcome into our organization. Like I said, this fall might be a little more difficult because we're looking to limit the size of the group so that we do have an opportunity to meet and perform. And the further away we get from this epidemic and the closer we come to a solution, then we can continue to grow the group again. But anybody is welcome.
So when are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, as you see, everybody is welcome. You want to sing? Honey, it's not the time that you sing in the shower. Go to Miami Main Cars, and it's the time that you show up, honey.
So
And don't tell me you only sing in the shower because my behind will bring a portable one into the rehearsal room.
Anthony, I know everything's up in the air with programming.
Anthony, what is this just
As
that
it is with
people
us
have
right
to
now.
do just to get in touch with Miami Gay Mentors? We have to go to the website, fill out an application, and just wait for the next meeting.
Well, definitely get to the website mgmchorus.org and send an email through there, and we will definitely get in contact with you, and you can come and join us.
Absolutely.
Herb, you were saying?
Yes. What I was saying was a couple of different things. First and foremost,
I know that we can.
I know that we don't have. I know that we don't have a lot of plans as of right now for the next concert. But when do you plan on having the next concert? As of right now.
As of right now, my brain is trying to wrap itself around doing some sort of streaming concert in a space that we can stream using, appropriate and accepted social distancing measures. And the important part of that concert is that it'll probably be attached to a donate button.
Of course.
Right? Because through that medium, we cannot charge pay-per-view. But we want to be able to get together and sing in community. I always look at concerts as our way of having our audiences see what we experience on a weekly basis. Right. It's just allowing people into that space. So while we probably won't be able to ticket them, there will be a donation button at the bottom, but we're seeking to do some sort of streaming concert.
I also heard a rumor
that it's
you
a
guys
perfect time because, every time that you guys perform, it's just like a therapy. It's a perfect time. I can hear you the whole day. Listen, and during this time, we all need Miami Gay Mentors. So
you're so sweet. You said, Herb?
That I also know that I've heard rumors that you guys might also be part of Celebrate Orgullo in October. So maybe we'll get a little taste of the chorus before December.
I hate a rumor. I will confirm that we will be there in one way or another.
Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. I just want to go back to one quick thing, seriousness, before we go, into hearing your beautiful voice. And I want you to introduce who some of the other singers or performers are going to be tonight as well. But I think it's important to say when we talk about privilege, as you mentioned, and by all means, all three of us have privilege in different ways and different levels. But as Samantha will say, because she's on a road trip right now and just got to Philadelphia and will be streaming live. Well, she's streaming live from there now, but she'll be doing the show on Monday from there. Privilege, it's all in the perspective, because anywhere, I've always said this, north of Palm Beach is the South. You think Miami's the South, it's not the South. you know, and you and I may identify as white in this community, but the minute you got a little further north of the, you know, the lake, guess what?
It's
You
not
know,
the
We're
same.
not.
persona non grata. So, and I only mention that because, you know, if we don't come together as a community, the worst thing that we can do, especially in the LGBTQ community, is to keep putting ourselves into separate little boxes, you know, and say, well, the trans people over there, and the Latina trans people over there, and the Black Latina trans people over there, and the butch gay men or the white gay men. You know, we're only hurting ourselves. And I think that, you know, coming together for other communities because it's the right thing to do, not because there's a personal gain in it necessarily, but because it's the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. I think that's that, and I applaud what the chorus is doing, and I encourage you to do a lot more of that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
We need to speak for each other.
so,
We need to speak for everybody.
so now
Absolutely.
Samantha and I know what beautiful voices you guys have, but before you sing, why don't you tell us? Are there going to be other singers today performing?
So obviously, in this platform and in the current situation that we're in, we can't have the full chorus perform. But today we have two other members of the chorus.
Yes.
Jesus Rivera, who is also the president of our board, and Rafael Baez, who will also be singing. So it'll be the three of us providing some music for you for the next half hour, talking to you a little bit about what we've been doing in terms of programming, what we plan to do, and sharing some music with you for the next 20 or so minutes.
So take it away.
So I'm just going to invite you into my world. I'm going to sing for you one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite family movies. And it's the opening of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Pure Imagination, because that's really what I believe we need in order to be able to come up with solutions to help and love each other is pure imagination. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What you'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Miami Gamer and Curls. Oh my God. You just make my tears drop. It's just,
You're so sweet.
oh,
You're so sweet. So
it was,
now singing for us is going to be Jesus Rivera, and he's singing a song called Ode to Billy Joe. And actually, Ode to Billy Joe's kind of really interesting song. Part of the unfortunate dynamics of our community is the concept of suicide.
yes,
And you know, at so many times, members of our community get to a point in their mental state where that seems to be the only solution, and that's very, very unfortunate. Now, obviously, I'm one of these who feels that that's part of the support we offer. So anyway, Ode to Billy Joe is a really interesting song because it has to do with Billy Joe who committed suicide, and the conversation is being had over a dinner table, and the response is so nonchalant, kind of like, oh, it's something else. But if you really listen to the text, you get to understand the pain that led to Billy Joe's situation, and that's Jesus Rivera.
yes. So Jesus, welcome.
It was the 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty Delta day. I was out chopping cotton, and my brother was baling hay. And at dinner time, we stopped and walked back to the house to eat. And Mama hollered at the back door, y'all remember to wipe your feet. And then she said, I got some news this morning from Chalktown Ridge. Today, Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. And Papa said to Mama as he passed around the black-eyed peas, whoa, Billy Joe never had a lick of sense. Pass the biscuits, please. There's 5 more acres in the lower 40 I've got to plow. Mama said it was a shame about Billy Joe. And anyhow, seems like nothing ever comes to no good up on Chalktown Ridge. And now Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. Brother said he recollected when he and Tom and Billy Joe, he put a frog down my back at the Carroll County Picture Show. Wasn't I talking to him after church last Sunday night? I'll have another piece of apple pie. You know it don't seem right. I saw him at the sawmill yesterday up on Choctaw Ridge. And now you tell me Billy Joe has jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. Mama said to me, child, what's happened to your appetite? Well, I've been cooking all morning and you haven't touched a single bite. That nasty young preacher, Brother Taylor, dropped by today. Said he'd be pleased to have dinner on Sunday. Oh, by the way, he said he saw a girl that looked a lot like you up on Chalktown Ridge. And she and Billy Joe was throwing something off the Tallahatchie Bridge. A year has come and gone since we heard the news about Billy Joe. Brother Mary, Becky Thompson, they bought a store in Tupelo. There was a virus going round, Papa caught it and he died last spring. And now Mama doesn't seem to want to do much of anything. And me, I spend a lot of time picking flowers up on Shocktown Bridge and dropping them into the muddy water of the Tallahatchie Bridge. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome,
Thank you so
Jesus.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a great song. Hey, Samantha. Now, in response to that song, Rafa Baez is going to sing a song called "How to Save a Life" by The Fray, and it really speaks to what we do as a community. The first set of words are: step one, you say we need to talk, and he walks, and you sit down. It's just a talk, and he smiles politely back at you, and you stare politely right on through. You insist on being a friend. You insist on sharing love, and you insist on supporting, and that's how we save a life. And Rafa